I am sure you're familiar with the concept of why, W-H-I, the concept that was popularized by Simon Sinek starting in 2009 when he delivered his now super famous talk, 14 million views on YouTube, Start with Why. All entrepreneurs, I'm almost sure you know that it's important to have a purpose. All entrepreneurs want to have a big why and build their business around a why. Almost all of us. I mean, we've been trained to get on this fashion, on this bandwagon, to be on this trend. And recently, I read a post by a colleague on LinkedIn that helped me clarify and put words on an idea. The idea is that I think we're being very confused. We're very confused with this idea of why. It's hard to combine the reasons why your company exists and the reasons why you're inspired by the work that you do. And it's interesting because it was a post from a colleague in France, and that post was written in French. And what jumped at me is how we say why in French. We say pourquoi. We say pourquoi. And we actually can say in two versions. One is in one word, pourquoi, which is the equivalent of why in English. And the other version is pourquoi. So two separate words with a space in the middle, which doesn't mean why, it means for what. And I thought that this distinction that my colleague was making is brilliant, is very powerful, because it helps understand that purpose is multifaceted in an organization. It's evolutionary. One of the principles of strategic narrative, my methodology, is that purpose evolves over time. It's okay to not have it set in stone and rigid and fixed. It's okay to notice that it changes through the course of our journeys. And it helps us also, that concept helps us reconcile the reasons why a business exists, the for what are the goals, what are the impact that this business is trying to create, and the reasons why we're inspired by this business. When I'll use my example, when I started MetaHelm, I was extremely inspired by the idea of having putting together a consultancy that will help leaders be better leaders. So MetaHelm is essentially a business strategy consulting firm operating with a strong belief that what should come first in strategy is leadership. And I was really excited about this. That was my why. I deeply thought about the reasons why I would start this business, and even gave it a name that has a connotation of leadership. It has MetaHelm. The helm is what steers a ship. And I said, when I launched MetaHelm, I'm here to guide the guides. So I was very inspired by this, but at the same time, I could see clearly what MetaHelm existed for what. So, but I only noticed that I had made this distinction when I read my colleague's post. And I wanted to share that distinction with you because it helped me really understand that the purpose of my business can be articulated based on those two facets. Why is something that, why, as Simon Sinek defines it, is something that can be very personal. So if you are a solopreneur, your why and your what for can have strong, very, very strong, and hopefully have very, very strong overlap. But when it comes to a professional services firm with a team, that's when things can be a little more complex, because despite the fact that a firm exists for a clear goal, a what for, people can show up to work to build this firm with different whys, and that's perfectly okay. And I feel like this is where this distinction really helps reconcile that and accept that we may not share the same vision of why a company exists, because it's a personal thing. This distinction also reminds me of the concept of ikigai. You've probably seen a Venn diagram with four circles, and it explains why you do the work that you do, because, and those 4 cycles from the top of my mind is because one is what the world needs, the other one is what you need, what people are ready to pay for, and the 4th one I forgot, to be honest. So this concept of what for versus why reminds me of the fact that, you know, it's okay to have 2 different approaches to the purpose of a business, or many different approaches to the purpose of a business if you have a team, and to work on looking at the intersections and reconciling these through intersections versus trying to dictate only one reason why a business exists for everyone. So I hope that this helps. Keep in mind that the reason why you run your business may be very personal. Maybe it's because you're excited. Maybe it's because you need to pay the bills. Maybe it's because you run a specific type of business because you can run it from home and it's very helpful because you can raise your family. Maybe it's because you have a very unique skill set, and that's why this business exists. And on the other hand, your business exists for a specific utility, a specific function, if you will. For instance, if you're a lawyer, your what for, why does your business exist? Is what for is to make sure that the world is fair, that justice is applied. What is MetaHelm for? MetaHelm is for leadership and better focus and traction for professional services firm. Why do I do this? It's because I get excited, I get inspired, because I feel like I'm helping people that I love, that I can have an impact, and that's very, very personal. But if I decide to hire a business partner or bring somebody in my team, maybe their reasons why they're excited about MetaHelm will be different, and that's okay. And yet, what MetaHelm is thriving to produce as an outcome will keep the same. All right. This was my first attempt at hopefully clarifying or making the distinction, and I hope that this helps. And I look forward to seeing your comments and your thumbs up or questions as always. Thank you.